So I'll do a song real quick here, and then
rotate your device. You can't turn on your phone.
Is it gonna make us look weird?
That is gonna be. I think it's gonna be weird. I think it is weird.
Let me check. Oh my God.
We're gonna fix this problem. Why did it not work the other way?
I don't know.
That's really weird.
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. You just rock it. What we could do too, just to help the situation, just gonna back it up a teeny bit.
Back the thing up.
Back that.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I know, I figured it out. Kimberly, my wife. Yes, he did. He looks dapper.
I did cut my hair.
Well, I'm going to play a song, and then we're going to talk for a little bit, and then Brandon's going to play a song. So stick around. This is an Otis Redding tune. If I was the sun way up there, I'm going almost every way. I'm be the moon when the sun goes down, just to let you know that I'm still around. That's how strong my love is. That's how strong my love is, babe. That's how strong my love is, babe. That's how strong my love is, babe. I'll be the weeping willow, drowning in my tears. You can go swimming, baby, whenever you're near. I'll be the rainbow when the sun is gone. Wrap you in my covers and I would love you warm. That's how strong my love is, babe. That's how strong. I'm in the ocean, so deep and so wide. I'll get out the tears whenever you cry. I'll be the breeze after the storm is gone. Dry your eyes, love you all. That's how strong my love is, babe. That's how strong, oh, my love is, babe. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Nice.
This is Brandon B., my good buddy.
What's up, guys?
The epic producer and artist, Brandon B., the legend, not the myth. Just
no, I'm now not a myth. At one point, maybe I was.
Now you're provable.
I'm here.
Well, we're in the studio, if you hadn't heard, and we're in the process of recording some tasty jams that I can't wait to show you. You have to stay tuned. In fact, I talked about it last week, if you were watching. If not, you can find the video amongst my videos. So check it out because it explains that we're starting a patron subscription. So, and this is one of those things that we're doing. We're working on a new album of Christmas jams. And in fact, I promised last week that I would unveil one song each week until the album came out. So tonight, the big unveil is the first song is Go Tell It on the Mountain. So we're recording Go Tell It on the Mountain.
I guess it's a good thing that you waited till after because we've changed the song so much.
Right. That's true.
Sweet. They are sweet.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know Brandon, Brandon's been on the scene for a number of years in a number of different iterations, both as a solo artist in bands, as a producer, as a worship leader. He works with a lot of different people in a lot of dynamic ways, including the last 3 records that I've been a part of, the 2 Banner Days records and then my last solo record, Bravery in the Belt. And so I wanted to pick his brain a little bit and introduce you guys to him if you haven't had a chance to meet him. And so I've got some questions for you if you're cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Put you on the spot.
Sure.
So the first thing I wanted to ask was, how did you get your start doing music?
Okay. I grew up in a singing family. So my mom and dad, before I was born, they were in bands. They were in a band called Manna for a little while. My dad played the Rhodes and my mom sang backup, and then they kind of started doing their own solo thing a few years before I was born. And then they kind of like took a break, and then we had my sister, and then my mom started going on the road around did a USO tour, well, not a USO tour, but a ton of them. And I don't know, it was about when I was like 9 or 10 years old is when I said to my dad, "Hey, Dad, I want Mom to come back, and I would like for us to all go on the road." And I had barely really played much by that point, but I was playing drums, I believe. And so anyway, yeah, I started playing with my family, and we toured pretty much the rest of my adolescence and high school age time. So yeah, that's kind of what I got started. My dad was a band teacher, and he taught me a bunch of instruments throughout all that time, and we toured.
Oh, yeah. That's where it comes from.
Yep.
Brandon is legendary for being able to play just about any instrument there is. It's pretty impressive when you're in the studio.
Not per se really the best, but I might be able to figure it out.
You can make pleasant sounding sounds come out of them, if nothing else. All right, so if you guys have any questions at any point, feel free to chime them in, and we'll try to read as many as we can. My next question for you, Brandon, is when did you know this was what you would want to do for a living?
When I was, right around that 9, 10, 11 years old, I think my family had just started playing, so it was probably more like 10 years old. We went into the studio to record a Christmas CD, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was really super cheesy Christmas, like, I don't know how to explain it, but just like, it's the most wonderful time, kind of that kind of stuff.
Kind of crooner music.
Super cheesy. But, yeah, it was, so I was in the studio, and I found myself going home and taking everything out of my closet and putting a really horrible, cheap mic that I found on a mic stand, putting it inside there, closing the door, and on it just just like a normal tape machine, I would record somebody in there, right?
You made your own vocal booth.
I did. I made my own vocal booth. Oh, yeah, and I
Wow.
used to, I've heard a lot of other people done this, so I know I didn't just like invent this by any means, but I basically went around the house and found as many cassette tapes or cassette players that I could, and I had 2 or 3 of them, and I would record the acoustic guitar on one, then I'd press play and then record on the next one, and it would play the acoustic through a mixer, and then I would record the vocal in the other one. And I had to sync all of them at the same time. And I could only do 3 or 4 tracks because you only have so many fingers to press play.
Right.
But I did that until my dad gave me a cassette, 4-track. But anyway, I think I'd say probably right when I first experienced the studio at 10 years old, I knew I wanted to produce.
Wow.
You know, so
Got the bug early.
I didn't know what producing per se was. I
Right.
just knew that I wanted to do the studio stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that kind of falls up into the next question. What led you to producing albums for other people?
Okay. Yeah, so I would say I always had the desire to. I actually didn't personally like my own voice throughout almost all of my high school. I sang in choir, but my mom and dad in our band made me sing. Not made me. Made me is a bad word. I didn't really want to sing, so they would make me sing, and so I was willing to sing bass in our, because we did Dixieland sometimes, so we had 4 or 5 part harmony all the time, and so I would sing these low notes. They really weren't that low compared to you, of course, but at that point I thought I was singing low. And so anyway, I didn't like the way that my voice sounded, so actually I was never even trying to be an artist. I mean, I did write songs, but so I would say producing was the thing I did even before I ever tried to write my own music.
Oh, wow. So it came first.
It did come first, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fascinating. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of experience in the music business. What piece of advice would you give someone who's looking to pursue a career in music so they haven't started yet?
Okay. Advice. Well, first of all, I believe very much that people are made to create. Okay? So those that are creative are made to do that. That is how they process life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my biggest encouragement to any of you guys would be okay with utilizing your creative mind and, you know, writing songs, especially if you're an artist. Write songs about every facet of your life, and be okay with it being just that, is songs that you're processing through, because what you'll find is you'll many years later you'll find yourself being a much healthier creative. There's a reason why creatives get into drugs and get into becoming alcoholics a lot of the time, and if anything, they just destroy their life by wanting to please everyone musically and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why is because they are not creating to process what they're seeing in life, but they're just creating to give somebody else something. Okay. And so my best advice is become your craft, become that thing. And so when I deal with issues with my family, I have a big family. I have 7 kids. When one of my kids, you know, something happens to them, you know, instead of like finding somebody to complain to, or, you know, getting really sad or getting really angry, I might still do that because I have to be a dad, but I will go and write a song about it, you know, or things going on with me and my wife. And not a lot of people have probably ever heard many songs of, you know, that I've written for my wife or about my wife, not because, you know, they're secretive, but just because they're pretty personal to me, and it's because it's helped me process my life with my relationship with her, and that to me has made me, I feel like when it comes to a creative, I'm still doing this, because that's the end goal, is like, if you haven't started yet, you want to continue to do it. Well, if you start now and you only think about creating for other people or for the opportunity of being successful or all that kind of stuff, well, as you know, every time you think you're going to be successful, the world, and music world especially, just steps on your face. Yeah. And reminds you that you're really not that successful. And so if that's the reason why you're doing it, then it's pointless, you know. And so I just say be a songwriter. Or if you are a painter, be a painter. If you are a photographer, be a photographer. And, you know, your wife, Kimberly, is awesome at that. And, you know, you can almost see when you see the pictures that she's done, like for Beth's record or even for your new record, I feel like she entered into Beth's soul on that picture. I mean, that's what everybody says, is that thing is insane, you know? And that's because she's become who she is. She's processing the world around her through her art. And I feel like that makes you a healthier creative.
Yeah, so. That's good. I like that. Brilliant.
A bit more philosophical than maybe probably, you know.
That's cool.
And sell a lot of records. Yeah. That's the other thing. No, that's kind of impossible right now.
Okay, so having been on a record label, you know, helping start that record label,
yeah,
and being an independent musician, which is your preference and why?
Okay, well,
because there's got to be pluses to.
There's pluses and minuses to both, for sure. I would just say, you know, being on the label, what's tough about being on a label is you really do need to create kind of what they're looking for. I mean, you do, you know. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not the right fit for that, then you'll get really frustrated, and then you'll be really unhappy with yourself. And I think you'll see some success if you know that's what actually happens. It's kind of an up and down thing. But I would just say, you know, a label is you've got to be okay with being, I guess, connected into the matrix, so to speak, you know, yeah. And you really are a part of the system and embrace the system to some degree. But if you don't want to do that and you want to be independent, or you want to do whatever you want, well, be independent. Just know that it's a whole nother animal of how much work it is. You're doing everything, you know, when you're an indie. And Bradford is like, I think he's one of the best at it, and yet he's still asking questions to everyone about how to do it.
It's
and
true.
So there really actually aren't any rules.
Right.
The label basically gives you a bunch of things to do, and you just do those things.
Yeah.
And they put you in a system. Indie is like, however you can possibly, you know, figure out a way to make money, you do it.
Right.
you know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Best piece of advice that I've ever received. Oh, man. Well, okay, this one is... this one is on the Christian side of who I am, okay? So, the best piece of advice, I will say it really wasn't actually from a person, but it was from the Lord. I believe this. And it was, if you can't love my people, then you can't love me. That was the best advice because it's changed everything, the way that I live. And
nice.
It's the way that I process. It's like, it's easy for me to... let's just take it even out of the Christian side for a second. It's easy for me to find problems with lots of people. Mm. But, like, what am I doing if I don't love people?
Right.
Like, what's the point? And I guess you can sum it all up in it's all about relationship. And you know that. It's like,
absolutely.
you can look at some of your follies by what relationships failed and what relationships, you know, have succeeded. You can see when you made the wrong turn is when you probably did something wrong in a relationship. You know, I think they're supposed to challenge you, you know. So I don't know. That's the best advice that I could think of off the top of my head.
Okay. This is a practical question.
Okay.
What is the biggest mistake you see artists making in today's day and age?
Okay, this is a mistake that I make all the time.
Okay.
So it's very, it's fresh, and I think we've even had a conversation about this even today, so I think it works.
Nice.
stop sitting on great music.
Yes.
Like, if you have written some good music, it's so easy for us to even go into, like, for those of you that might not record a lot or haven't recorded at all, it might be a different thing. But I think a lot of people who have recorded a bunch, it's easy for us to sit on something or not finish the thing that we were going to do because we're just convinced it's not good.
Absolutely.
Or we're convinced there's no place for it in our career, or, you know, and I think that you know, that's just something that I think we even talked about today.
Yeah. Just for context for what he's referencing, and hopefully this is appropriate.
Yeah, feel free.
He showed me a couple of his songs that he's been holding on to for a while, and the sound is amazing. And I can't believe he hasn't released it like weeks ago, years ago. I don't know how long you've had it, but
I've had it for 2 years now. Stupid. Yeah.
It's really good.
But
so
hey,
stay tuned, because he's going to release it soon.
Even those of us that make records all the time, I mean, I've literally made close to 350 records for other people. So I'm in this for real, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I still have the same issues that people do when they first start.
Yeah.
And that's not being able to find self-worth and be okay with what I do.
That's why I personally I think it's important to have community around you when you're doing this, because sometimes you need to show something to somebody else and have them say, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Put that out. Okay, one last question, and then I wanna have you play a song.
Okay.
So I think your music, your production is incredible. You're one of the greatest musicians I've ever met and or played with. So
thanks, Bradford. Now shut it.
When you have a secret, you want to share it. So how does somebody get in touch with you to work with you? What's the best way?
Oh, well, I would just say at first, you know, connect with me either on Facebook or Instagram. I mean, I can give you my email too if you really want to, but yeah, those.
Shout it out, man.
Okay, it's Brandon BEEmusic@gmail.com, and it's super easy. Yeah, and if you're interested in doing some, you know, working on some records or whatever, that'd be cool.
You have a website too, right?
I do have a website, yes. It's BrandonBMinistries.com.
Okay.
So
check it out.
It might scare some of you that might not be into Jesus, but I promise I don't bite.
Right. Nice. You mind playing us a tune?
Yeah, sure. All right, well, I really haven't actually ever played this tune besides just kind of writing it, but...
All right, debut here.
He kind of just threw this at me that he was going to have me play a song, so... And it's off my phone, so I'm going to be messing around with it, but here we go. Oops. There's a road that's been paved to walk upon, just like a song that was meant to be sung. There's a God that speaks gently to his sons. Come to me. There's a rage in an unforgiving sea, a night sky
It's a bad man. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. A couple quick shout outs. I want to thank everybody that's joined the patronage subscription. Thank you very much. We got some cool things coming your way. I can't wait to share them with you. So thank you so much, and big shout out to SoundForge Studios for hosting us the last couple of days.
And Jason, standing over there, he's the owner, and he's awesome.
And he just brought us Greek food.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty stoked about that as well. So we're gonna grub up and get back to recording. Thanks so much for hanging out, and see you guys later.
I see ya.